Michelle Ward.
Hello, Catherine Jazz.
Thanks for joining me on CtheGtv.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on CtheGtv. That's okay.
Well, the reason why I invited you to the TV show is because I think that you are great.
Aw, thanks.
I do. I think that what you provide people is extremely valuable. I get so much out of any conversation I have with you. And when I go to your website, I find it just so inviting. And what you offer people is extremely, like you have a book coming out and you have the Golden Ticket e-course and event. And I saw this, I almost joined it, but I was launching something at the same time.
Oh, the Clubhouse.
Yes. I can't wait to join someday.
That's my community site. Yeah, I only open that like once or twice a year. So I think maybe this summer-ish or something I'll open it back up.
You saw me sort of circling the airport there for a minute. I was like, I'm sort of looking at this. And I was really interested, and I did not plan my launch well for my course. I'm like, you know what, girl?
And I'm glad because you need to take care of you. And that's important. So, yeah. I mean, none of us need to just buy something that we're not 100% sure is going to be like the best investment that we can make for ourselves at the time. So
I know. I just feel like we all need to be. There's so many things to sign up for. But I want to say that CtheGtv is the goal is to provide an opportunity for me to interview people that I think are great. That's it.
Yay!
And I think that it's really important that we stand in our greatness and we own our greatness. And I think that you do a really great job at that. I really do. With the way that you brand yourself and the things that you offer people and the way that you are available for coaching. And just how you do it, everything that you wrap it in is yummy.
Okay.
It's yummy. And the ukulele.
And the pink ukulele.
So
it's on my wall. Hold on.
Is it? Oh, there it is. I got to hear you play at WDS. It was awesome.
Oh my God, it's crazy. I haven't picked it up in a while. I need to do that. I'm going to do that tonight.
Good. Well, I want to ask you, I think it's very easy for us to talk about what we don't think is right, what we need to fix, what's not working, what personality traits we need to get rid of so that we can be more great or whatever it is. It's just easier for us to have a list of things that we are not. And it's harder for us to just own our greatness without it seeming like it's inflated event. What are they going to think if I say that I'm Catherine the Great? What if I actually put this giant event out there and say that I'm leading it or all that stuff? What I'm curious about with you is how do you move from that space of not enough, that list of what you are not, to taking ownership without the ego attached, but really just taking ownership of the gifts that you were given, the talents that you have, the work that you've done to get where you are today. What happens for you to shift your perception and just sit in that seat of royalty?
I'm going to give you an answer that's going to sound easy, but is exactly the opposite. It's probably the hardest answer I could give you. And so I apologize in advance for that. I think it's trust. I think it's trust in the lessons you've already learned from just being alive and being a person and living in the world and having relationships and having fights and getting what you want and not getting what you want. For me, I'll admit that I was raised to be a very confident person, and I have a theater background, and I always, people that are like scared to death of, getting on stage, a room full of people, like that's what I love. And my 20 plus years of being an actor, ever since I was little, and that was my only goal. And living that life of an actor and having that rejection and being part of that business, what I really took away, and I learned this, I feel like a little too late in that career, which is why it didn't save me, was, my uniquity, what I call my uniquity is everything. And the more I put it out there, the more I'm giving myself a leg up in this acting world where we're taught, at least I was, through my various training, you want to blend in with everyone. You want to go in, you want to sing the pretty song for your audition. You want to wear a dress that like isn't distracting from your face, and you want to, look like all the 400 other 20-something-year-old girls in the room with you, and go in and show them that you could sing and this and that, but you don't want to do anything too out of the box at first. And then have them ask you to come back in for a callback, and then you could start showing them other things. And I lived by that for a long time until finally I put together, these are the type of roles that I get called back for, are like very loud, very funny, multiple characters, very big, like Saturday Night Live type characters. And I have a really loud, belty voice. That's how I sing. And if I don't put that out there at the beginning, even like from my headshot, even from like, here's what I look like and here's what you're going to get, then they have to find that themselves. Right. And that takes a longer time. And a lot of times people won't give you that time. And so instead, I went, oh, okay. I'm going to get new headshots where I'm in a polka dotted dress. I like polka dots. Bright polka dotted dress, bright blue background. Right away, I'm popping. I'm gonna go in and I'm going to sing my loudest, funniest song right off the bat. I don't care if the parts are for the opposite sort of characters. This is what I do. I bought a dress that was kind of looked like candy buttons, so another like polka dotted dress with a polka dotted headband, and immediately I went in as this new version of Michelle, and I saw everyone at the table kind of like look interested again. And if you're used to auditioning, it's like the people behind the table that are judging you are sitting in on 8 hours of auditioning. I mean, they see like hundreds upon hundreds of people at once. So when like it's just been after lunch, or they're just like, they're just being nice, whatever, they'll cut you off. And it's they were paying attention, and I was getting a lot more callbacks, and I was getting a lot of people remembering me. So I would get a phone call 6 months after I auditioned for something. You auditioned for this thing, you weren't right for that, but we remembered you for this project. Wow. And can you come in? And I knew that if I didn't bring that into my business and my work, then I would be an idiot, and that would be stupid. So right off the bat, I was all about, I have to own what makes me unique. I have to own what makes me me and what makes me great, and own it and put it out there for people to see and see whether or not it's for them. And one of the infamous stories I tell is when I first put up my When I Grow Up Coach site, which looks nothing like what you see now. Very bare bones, designed by my husband, who's not a website designer. Copy was very different. And I sent the link to like my parents, my family members, like, look, I have a website, blah, 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 go see it. And my dad responded with, I wouldn't hire you.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't hire you, Michelle. And I said, well, why? And he goes, well, this website isn't professional. Your tone isn't professional. You mentioned too many times that you're Jewish. Because I think at one point I said, like, I'm a Jewish girl from Long Island, and another point I said, oy vey.
Yeah.
And he goes, it is just not, there is nothing professional about it, and it is way too casual. And that could have been a turning point for me. Yeah. And instead of going, oh my God, oh my God, I said to him, thank you very much for your feedback. I know that you're looking out for me, but I'm not looking to work with 60-year-old businessmen. And I think that the creative people in their 20s and 30s and 40s that I see myself working with are going to really appreciate this tone and who I am, and also know who they're going to work with if they decide to hire me, to work with me. Like, I don't have to hide anything about myself. This is who I am, and this is what they're getting. And sign up or go away. And he goes, okay, well, don't listen to your dad, and I've only been in business for blah, 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 blah. And I think it was like 8 months later, I got contacted by Newsweek to do a video piece on life coaching, which was super exciting. I was still at my day job at that point. You could see that on my site, too, if you go to my About Me page. And my dad said, at that point, when he heard about that, he goes, well, you must be doing something right, so forget what I said and just keep doing what you're doing. Okay, thank you. So that's a long answer to your question.
Well, what I like is that you knew who your audience was and who it wasn't, and that even though he's your dad, you had to take stock in the fact that that's not your clientele.
Yes.
And I think when we are putting ourselves out there, especially like it's a new e-course, it's a new website, it's a new blog post or whatever, and we go to our dearest friend who isn't necessarily our client, but we're so open. I mean, and I've had to do that with my husband too. Like, I can't go to him for certain things because I know he's going to come at it from this like practical business kind of like. I'm like, no. I need the pom poms.
Yeah. You know what? And there's nothing wrong with telling people that, especially husbands.
Yeah.
Husband, I need to just hear you tell me that I'm doing a really great job and this looks fantastic. Could you just say that to me?
Yeah.
Sometimes
I have lessons for him on how to be more like my girlfriend because that's what I want the girl who's chatty and excited and throws glitter in the air, not the like, well, I think, but yeah.
I know, and they mean well, and I think it's the family and the people that love you that do this the most because they're like concerned about you and they want to keep you safe and they want to make you like they want you to be successful and
it's not bad advice necessarily, but what I noticed about what you said was that you had right off the bat an understanding of the fact of where that kind of feedback was coming from, and it didn't stop you, and that over now your website's different as a result of the evolution of you, of course. Right. But it's still along the same lines of having your authentic voice, not the voice of like, this is how a business website should look like.
Oh my God. I rebelled against that. I actually had at one point, like my very first FAQ page, what is coaching, and like answering different questions about coaching because my first website went up in, I think, 2008. And it was really people didn't know what coaching was. So I had a whole page kind of devoted to that. And someone made the comment to me, are you coaches given a templated FAQ page to put on your website? Because I read the same questions and answers from everyone.
Oh my God.
And I literally went, oh, thank you for letting me know it reads like that. It's not my intention. And I went back and just totally like casualized it up. And I always try to write kind of how I talk.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, if someone asks what is coaching, you write it one way. Coaching is the way you get from point A to point B and and then there's like, oh no, coaching is where, I'm a certified coach and I have the belief that my client is in the driver's seat and is the expert in their own life and I'm here in the passenger seat to help them, figure out how to get from A to B without like running over that pothole that they run over and whatever. Yeah. That's how I would kind of explain coaching. And so I'm able to do that. I went and I rewrote everything because I'm like, I don't want it in that stuffy, tempted tone. That's just not, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just not me.
Right.
And so I don't have so many moments of like, I need to blend in or I'm always looking for like, what kind of weird, funny thing can I do? Like play my ukulele, make a theme song for my clubhouse with my ukulele. That you could also see when you go to my website. If you click on work with me, you'll see Clubhouse. And if the Clubhouse is closed, you'll see the video, a little theme song. And the very first product that I ever had was basically my career change exercises. I wanted to put them in one workbook. And I was like, I just need to write an intro and then some stuff to kind of tie everything together. And I wrote the intro as like a poem, like a Dr. Seuss-like poem. And I loved it so much that I decided to rewrite every single exercise.
Oh my God.
Rhyming. And I did that. So now I have like a 50-something page workbook.
Wow.
Change workbook that's illustrated by Jessica Swift that rhymes.
Oh, I just got goosebumps. I mean, and that's you.
You're such a... Right.
I mean, your product is a representative of who you are without holding back, like the polka dotted dress when you walked into the audition and being loud when you're singing because that's, you project when you sing. That's who you are. You're not trying to be like everybody else in the lineup.
Right. And I'm doing myself a disservice if I walk in there, even if I know, okay, I'm auditioning for Fiddler on the Roof, and that's very traditional stuff, and I know I'm auditioning for one of the daughters, and she's a song, and blah, blah, blah. If I go in there and I sing like, this is what I shine at, this is why I get hired, that like they're either going to find a place for you there or they're going to want to see more and see what your range is, or they're going to remember you for something else.
And you know what? When you sang at WDS, I remember. I mean, come on, people.
Oh my God. Well, he really put me in a mind with that one. It's like, could you tell your story about boob cancer in 2 minutes to a room full of 1,000 people? Like,
sure.
No, I have to sing a song about it. That's the only way to do it. And without, like, I always want, as you can imagine, want everything to be fun and lighthearted and creative and playful. It's like, who wants to talk about boob cancer for 2 minutes without, like, oh, I don't want to bring a room down. That's why I call it boob cancer instead of breast cancer.
Yeah.
Like, let's not be so serious about it. Thankfully for me, it wasn't. It was serious, but it was never, like, life-threatening for me.
Right.
So, anyway, we don't have to talk about my boob cancer, but,
Well,
yeah.
we can talk about, I mean, that's part of your story. It's a part of what makes you you, and I think it probably informs you about everything. I mean, anything that we go through, and we can label it bad or whatever, but I really do feel like it does provide us with more opportunities to learn about who we are and what we need and how to ask for help and what we want our lives to look like or not look like as a result of what we learned, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
You
Amen
know,
and hallelujah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you brought it up, and I loved the song, and it didn't, I mean, it made us, I was sitting next to my little, clan of friends, and we were all weepy and just so excited for you. Like, I have goosebumps all over my head right now just talking about it, because you were standing in your power, expressing your story in 2 minutes with the ukulele in front of 1,000 people.
It was a moment that will just always be, I think, a highlight for me, because it was kind of also like my worlds colliding. And it's weird for me when my whole life for so long was acting in theater and musicals and singing, and everyone knew me as a performer. Like, everyone in my life knew me as a performer, and that was my identity. Yeah. And now I have this new identity, which I love, and I love being the When I Grow Up coach, and I love the work that I do. But it's weird to be like, oh, people they know that that's my background, but they don't know it firsthand. And so to be going to a place like WDS, which is all about my new life, and be there, I never had an instrument with me when I performed. That was the first time I've ever not only played the ukulele in front of, like, not just my computer and YouTube, but an audience, but like a musical instrument at all while I was singing. But to have that and to be in front of that audience and get, like, that was my old life too, kind of coming back to me. And I just went, oh yeah, I need to do more speaking. Like, I need to do more speaking, and I need to do a one-woman cabaret show, and I need to do, like, I need that to be part of my life again. I
can't wait to go see more of that.
It'll be fun.
Well, I love how you celebrate your life, celebrate your gifts, and offer them to the world, and keep reinventing yourself. Really, I mean, you figured out now this is the path that you're on, and it's evolving. Now you're adding back in that thing that you love so much, and you're bringing it to this new audience that, you've had the coaching business and for a while, and now that old you.
yeah, exactly.
I love that. I love it.
I think that there's a way, and I know you kind of touched on this earlier, but I need to bring it up again because I think it's important. I think that, when we hear ourselves say, like, oh, well, what makes us great, and what, and we think, oh, we're going to have a big head, and people are going to think we're jerks, and blah, 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 blah. If you're not a jerk, you're not going to become a jerk. You know what I mean? Like, people that are jerks are kind of, and they start thinking about themselves, like, they're just going to be jerks about it. The clients I know that have expressed this fear to me, I'm like, you cannot be a jerk if you try. There is no way you're going to be a jerk. There's no way. It's giving yourself some credit. It's kind of treating yourself the way that you would treat your best friend. And it's kind of just being just more confident about who you are and what you stand for, and owning a little bit what makes you different, or what your message is, or, any of those things. And no one likes to call themselves an expert. No one's comfortable with that. So you might not be comfortable with, why am I great, or why am I an expert, or why, but instead it's more of like, well, what do I know, and what do I want to put out into the world, and, how do I want to approach my days and my conversations and my relationships. And if you kind of stand in that, it's about those intentions as well. I think that could be a more comfortable place to kind of come from and stand in, as opposed to what makes me amazeballs. I say this all the time,
Right. That's a good point. It's a great point.
Yeah, we recoil from that. Semantics, man.
I know.
Semantics. It's all, it's like why I never do, like, sales or marketing work. I do hoopla.
I love it.
It's what it is.
It is what it is.
Makes a difference.
And I like how you change the language to represent who you are, and it feels better in your being.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Totally.
I encourage that all the time. So really kind of figuring out, especially the things that you don't want to be doing, but they're good for you to do.
Yeah.
Like
Changes.
Yeah, promoting your business or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's hard. No one and networking. Everyone's like, I hate networking. I'm like, everyone hates it. I'm the most extroverted person in the whole world, and I hate networking. Who wants to network? Ugh, it's gross.
Yeah.
But instead, if it's about connecting, if it's about inviting, if it's about reaching out, it could be, that becomes a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
Oh, I was just going to say that I love talking to you, and I'm so glad that you had valuable information to give me about how to just own my greatness and that's such a generic thing to say, like, what is great about you? But really, there are gifts that you were given, and there are things about you that nobody else. I'm not going to wear a polka dotted dress.
Please, you know what? And that's freaking great, because that is the Catherine the Great way. But like, look at those beads on your arm. Those are awesome. See, it's things. Oh, and I can't stress this enough. Whatever you find yourself discounting about yourself, that is what makes you special. So whenever your client be like, oh yeah, well, I make really great cookies, but anyone can make really great cookies.
I can't
make great cookies. Or like, I really love designing a room, but there's so many interior designers, and so it doesn't matter if I do it. So many people could do interior design. I can't do interior design. So like, take it out of your head. Take it out. Give yourself like, you know what? I make freaking great cookies. It doesn't mean you have to open up a cookie store or open up a cookie company. But it's like, that's part of what makes you who you are.
Totally.
Stop it. Stop discounting it. Stop thinking it's a small thing. It's not a small thing.
Totally. I just keep saying totally because it's just
it's true.
I have to say too that you, I want to thank you for being part of CtheGtv. I'm still figuring out what this is, but it feels great to interview people. I love it.
Love it. It's so fun. Figure it out. As long as it doesn't matter.
I just felt like I wanted to do it, so I'm doing it.
Yay.
But I wanted to tell everyone too that the fabulous Michelle Ward, is going to be part of the Soulful Summit. So if you like what you're hearing here, you will hear an extended, amazing, valuable.
We talk to. You'll hear a lot of it.
Okay, let me just say that I'm going to go back through that interview and write down everything that we talked about. There are going to be links to everything we talked about and a handout. It's just juicy, packed goodness of how to take your life and your business to the next level, and I can't recommend that interview enough. So thank you for being a part of this and that and everything you do. I just think you're fabulous.
Thank you for having me. And now we'll both go collapse.
Yes, let's go collapse.
Okay, perfect.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
And I'm wondering what it is that you do to gosh, I'm like
I love it. I'm following you.
Edit.
I'm totally following you. No, don't even edit.
I'm gonna leave it in there.
This is life.
It is.